Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever noticed that the noisiest people in the room are rarely the wisest? That the loudest hustle doesn't always bring the richest reward? Today, let's take a deep breath together and remember, hush now, wealth follows. Because sometimes it's not the noise we make that brings abundance, but the calm we create that attracts it. Speech. In today's fast-paced world, everyone is running, chasing, shouting, posting, proving. We live in an age where silence feels like laziness and stillness feels like falling behind. But the truth is, real success is not born out of noise, it grows in peace. Think of the seed buried under the ground. It doesn't scream to grow, it grows in silence. The tree that bears the sweetest fruit does not boast, it just stands tall, quietly nourishing life around it. Silence is not the absence of power, it is the presence of mastery. In a world that glorifies noise, competition, and constant display, silence has become one of the rarest yet most powerful qualities. The person who can stay calm while others are panicking, who can listen while others are shouting, and who can observe before reacting possesses a strength that cannot be easily shaken. When we are silent, we are not surrendering, we are strategizing. Silence allows us to see beyond the surface, to understand what others miss, and to respond with clarity instead of confusion. There is a profound difference between being quiet and being silenced. Silence chosen from awareness is a mark of wisdom. It is not about avoiding confrontation or hiding your emotions. It's about knowing when to speak and when to hold back. The wise understand that not every situation deserves a reaction, and not every provocation deserves attention. The ability to remain still in moments of tension reflects emotional maturity, and that calmness becomes your inner weapon in a chaotic world. When you stop reacting to every distraction, your energy is conserved for creation, for vision, and for growth. Great leaders, thinkers, and visionaries have always known the value of silence. They understand that reflection often speaks louder than words. When your mind is silent, your intuition grows stronger. The answers you seek do not come from noise, but from stillness. Silence allows us to hear our inner voice, the one that often gets drowned by the noise of opinions, comparisons, and expectations. The person who can sit in silence without feeling restless is the one who has learned self-control. That inner discipline is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. When people speak impulsively, they often create regret. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. But silence gives you time to think, to choose, and to align your response with wisdom rather than emotion. There's a reason why the calm mind wins arguments without raising its voice. Silence disarms aggression, it confuses negativity, it shows that you do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Your calmness becomes your silent confidence, and your restraint becomes your quiet victory. In the pursuit of success, many people believe that constant action and loud ambition are the keys to achievement. Yet the most powerful actions often happen quietly. The sunrise makes no sound, yet it lights the entire world. A flower does not announce its bloom, yet it attracts all eyes. In the same way, your growth does not need to be advertised. True progress happens when you are focused inward, refining your skills, building your discipline and nurturing your mindset away from the world's distractions. That's the silent power that later speaks through undeniable results. Silence also builds emotional intelligence. It teaches you to listen, not just to others, but to yourself. Listening allows you to understand what truly matters, and it prevents misunderstandings that can harm relationships. When you choose silence over unnecessary argument, you preserve your peace. You realize that not every battle is worth fighting, not every opinion is worth proving, and not every critic deserves your response. That understanding is the foundation of inner stability, which is far more valuable than external validation. The calm person stands taller not because they shout louder, but because they think deeper. In their quietness lies purpose. In their restraint lies strength. They don't compete for attention because they already have direction. The ability to stay composed when everything around you is chaotic makes you a source of strength for others. People trust those who can remain steady under pressure. Your silence communicates confidence, patience, and control. Qualities that make you both respected and remembered. In a world that often mistakes noise for importance, let your silence redefine power. It is in that stillness where clarity is born, where peace is preserved, and where true success begins to take shape. The calmness you cultivate today will become the foundation upon which your greatest victories will rest. Peace is the foundation upon which all true prosperity is built. When your mind is calm, your decisions are clear, your actions are deliberate, and your energy flows in the right direction. Many people chase wealth with restless hearts, believing that constant struggle and unending busyness will bring them success. But what they often fail to realize is that chaos breeds confusion, while peace breeds clarity. A peaceful mind is not lazy, it is focused. It sees opportunities others overlook because it is not clouded by panic or pressure. The person who learns to cultivate inner peace becomes magnetic, attracting abundance, success, and meaningful connections effortlessly. Peace does not mean the absence of challenges, it means the presence of balance in the midst of them. Life will always present storms, but peace gives you the strength to stand firm without being swept away. When your mind is calm, even in the face of uncertainty, you are able to make wise choices. You no longer react impulsively or emotionally. Instead, you respond strategically. This difference between reacting and responding can determine whether you succeed or stumble. A peaceful mind creates a space where solutions emerge naturally, while a restless mind only multiplies the problem. In the modern world, peace has become a luxury because so many people are addicted to distraction. Phones, notifications, and social comparisons steal mental silence, leaving little room for focus. Yet the most successful individuals understand that peace is their greatest productivity tool. When you are centered and calm, you make progress without feeling exhausted. You can think deeply, plan effectively, and act efficiently. Every great innovation, every meaningful breakthrough begins in a state of mental stillness, a space where the mind is not cluttered but creative. Peace allows you to see not just what is, but what can be. People who lack peace often chase wealth but end up losing joy. They work tirelessly, but their success feels hollow because their minds are never at rest. Peace, however, transforms the way you experience success. It makes you grateful instead of greedy, and content instead of competitive. When you operate from peace, you attract opportunities that align with your purpose, not just your ego. You stop chasing and start attracting. This is why the calm individual who moves with quiet confidence often outpaces those running in panic. Peace allows you to trust your timing and to move in harmony with life rather than against it. Peace is also the most powerful form of confidence. When you are at peace with yourself, no criticism can shake you, no failure can break you, and no success can corrupt you. You become unshakable because your sense of worth no longer depends on circumstances. Peace anchors you in self-awareness. It reminds you that external chaos cannot disturb internal calm unless you allow it to. When your mind is peaceful, your emotions follow, and your actions become purposeful. From that state, wealth in all its forms naturally follows. Peaceful people are not passive, they are powerfully composed. They don't rush decisions, they prepare for them. They don't get lost in noise, they create from silence. They have the patience to wait for the right moment instead of forcing the wrong one. Their success seems effortless because it flows from a centered mind. A peaceful person does not compete for validation, they focus on value. That inner stillness gives them the confidence to move forward without fear, knowing that whatever is meant for them will not pass them by. Peace brings prosperity because it multiplies everything you do. It enhances creativity, deepens relationships, sharpens judgment, and strengthens resilience. It helps you maintain focus when life becomes noisy and to find solutions when others only see obstacles. The calm mind sees possibilities where the restless mind sees problems. When you live in peace, you think clearly, act wisely, and attract abundance naturally. True prosperity is not about the size of your bank account. It is about the richness of your mindset. Peaceful minds create prosperous lives because they build from a place of purpose, not panic, and that makes all the difference. Growth happens in stillness because progress often takes root in the quiet moments when no one is watching. The world celebrates results, but it rarely sees the preparation behind them, the long hours of reflection, the silent struggles, and the inner battles fought far from public view. Real growth is not loud or dramatic. It is patient, consistent, and often invisible, like a seed buried beneath the soil. Your potential needs time, darkness, and stillness to grow. You may not see the progress at first, but beneath the surface, transformation is taking place. In stillness, you evolve, strengthen, and align yourself with the direction of your dreams. In today's world, people have grown uncomfortable with stillness. Everyone wants instant recognition, constant validation, and visible success. But growth is not something that can be rushed. It unfolds naturally when the time is right. The seed that is forced to grow faster will break before it blossoms. The same is true for us. When we try to rush our development, we compromise its depth. Stillness teaches patience. It allows you to slow down and reflect, to identify what truly matters instead of getting lost in distractions. Growth is not just about movement, it is about direction. Without stillness, you may move quickly but end up going nowhere meaningful. Stillness gives birth to awareness, and awareness is the foundation of personal growth. When you pause and reflect, you begin to understand your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. You see patterns that either limit or empower you. You start making conscious choices instead of reacting impulsively. That inner awareness becomes your compass, guiding you toward better decisions and stronger actions. The moments you spend in quiet reflection are not wasted. They are where you build the mindset and discipline that will sustain your success when it finally arrives. Growth that comes from awareness lasts, while growth that comes from haste fades. There is immense power in the unseen effort. The practice no one applauds, the study no one records, the self-improvement that happens in private. The person who embraces stillness understands that progress does not need to be announced. The world may not notice your efforts today, but your consistency will eventually make your results impossible to ignore. The most beautiful transformations happen silently. The caterpillar does not make noise as it becomes a butterfly, yet its change is extraordinary. That is the nature of authentic growth, quiet, deliberate, and deeply powerful. Stillness is also the space where creativity thrives. When your mind is free from noise and clutter, ideas begin to flow naturally. You begin to see connections, opportunities, and solutions that you couldn't see in a state of restlessness. Every great artist, thinker, and innovator has had moments of solitude where inspiration struck. The calm mind is fertile ground for creation. When you learn to embrace stillness instead of fearing it, you open the door to deeper insight and stronger intuition. Your inner voice becomes clearer, and your actions become more aligned with your values. In stillness, you also learn resilience. Silence forces you to face your fears, doubts, and weaknesses without distraction. It challenges you to find strength within rather than seek it externally. When you sit quietly with your own thoughts, you discover how much power you truly have. That discovery builds unshakable confidence, not the kind that depends on approval, but the kind that grows from self-knowledge. Through stillness, you develop emotional endurance, the ability to stay composed in difficulty, and the wisdom to rise stronger after every setback. Growth that happens in stillness is often the most sustainable because it transforms who you are at the core. You may not notice the daily progress, but over time, everything changes. Your mindset, habits, and perspective evolve. The quiet work you do on yourself today will eventually echo loudly in your future. When you learn to value the silence, you stop rushing the process and start trusting it. You realize that becoming the best version of yourself does not require constant motion, only constant dedication. And that dedication, nurtured in stillness, becomes the quiet force that carries you toward greatness. Comparison is one of the greatest thieves of peace, progress, and potential. The moment we begin to measure our worth against someone else's achievements, we lose connection with our own path. Hushing the noise of comparison is not about ignoring others. It's about choosing to value your own journey more deeply. Every person has their own rhythm, their own timeline, and their own purpose. The race of life is not about finishing first. It's about finishing fulfilled. When you stop competing for validation and start focusing on growth, you begin to discover who you truly are beneath the layers of expectation and pressure. In a world dominated by social media, where success is constantly displayed like a highlight reel, it's easy to feel like you're behind. You see people achieving milestones, traveling, winning awards, and living what looks like perfect lives, and suddenly your own progress feels too slow or too small. But those snapshots never show the full story. The struggle, the sacrifices, the sleepless nights. When you compare your behind the scenes to someone else's edited reality, you set yourself up for disappointment. The truth is, your journey cannot be measured by someone else's timeline. What takes one person a year might take another 5, and that doesn't make one better or worse. It simply means each story unfolds at its own pace. Hushing the noise of comparison means reclaiming your focus. The energy wasted in envy could be the same energy used for self-improvement. The more you look at what others are doing, the less time you spend building your own vision. Growth requires attention, and attention divided is growth delayed. When you turn inward and commit to your path with patience, your progress becomes authentic and steady. The tree that grows slowly develops stronger roots, and the same is true for people. Your journey may take longer, but its foundation will be unshakable. Comparison blinds you to your own blessings. When you're too busy counting what others have, you forget to appreciate what's already in your hands. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to comparison. It shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, from insecurity to confidence. Every time you remind yourself of how far you've come, no matter how small the steps, you reinforce a mindset of growth rather than inadequacy. Success feels lighter when it's rooted in gratitude rather than competition. It allows you to celebrate others without feeling threatened because you understand that their light does not dim yours. Another danger of comparison is that it creates false standards. You begin chasing things not because they align with your purpose, but because they appear desirable. You start walking someone else's path, losing sight of your own direction. But when you silence that noise and return to your center, you remember what truly matters to you. Real happiness comes from authenticity, doing what fulfills your spirit, not what impresses others. The person who stays true to their path may walk slower, but they walk further because their steps are guided by purpose, not pressure. Stillness plays a powerful role here. When you take moments of quiet reflection, you can separate your voice from the voices of the world. You begin to see what you genuinely want, not what society tells you to want. That awareness brings freedom. You stop chasing trends and start building truth. You stop rushing because you understand that your journey is not late, it's unfolding exactly when it should. Silence helps you remember that life is not a competition, it's a creation. You are not here to outshine others, but to shine in your own unique way. When you hush the noise of comparison, you discover peace. You begin to admire without envy, to learn without feeling less, and to grow without resentment. You understand that everyone's timeline is divinely designed, that your story with all its delays, detours, and disappointments is preparing you for something meaningful. The moment you stop looking sideways and start looking within, your path becomes clear, your confidence returns, and your progress accelerates. Comparison loses its grip when self-awareness takes its place. And in that silence, you finally hear the sound of your own potential calling you forward. Calmness is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can possess. It radiates quiet confidence and draws opportunities, people, and success toward you. When your inner world is steady, your outer world begins to reflect that balance. Calmness is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of control amid them. It shows emotional intelligence, maturity, and strength that cannot be faked. The calm person does not need to prove their worth through noise or reaction. Their stillness speaks louder than any outburst. In moments of chaos, calm individuals stand out not because they shout, but because they shine with composure and grace. A calm mind attracts clarity. When emotions run high, decisions become clouded, and small problems start to feel insurmountable. But when you remain calm, your thinking sharpens. You can assess situations with reason rather than fear, and that perspective often leads to better outcomes. Calmness helps you see the bigger picture. It allows you to pause before reacting, to breathe before responding, and to act with intention rather than impulse. This clarity becomes a magnet for success because people trust those who can stay composed under pressure. They sense stability, and stability inspires confidence. Calmness also has an invisible influence. It changes the energy you bring into every room, every relationship, and every decision. When you are calm, people feel safe around you. They feel heard, respected, and valued. Leaders who lead with calm authority earn respect because their presence reduces fear instead of amplifying it. Calm people don't control others through aggression, they guide through assurance. They know that shouting louder does not make one stronger, listening deeper does. The calm heart communicates without words, influencing not by force, but by presence. Calmness also strengthens focus. In a noisy and distracted world, staying centered is a superpower. When your mind is calm, your attention is undivided, and your productivity increases. You stop wasting energy on unnecessary worries and channel it into meaningful action. Calmness transforms chaos into order, helping you manage your responsibilities with efficiency and poise. It is this inner discipline that separates those who crumble under stress from those who thrive in it. Calm people don't avoid pressure, they master it. They treat challenges as teachers, not threats, and that mindset keeps them moving forward while others pause in panic. A calm attitude also changes how you handle conflict. When others lose control, your composure becomes your advantage. You can navigate disagreements without hostility, allowing reason to triumph over emotion. This ability to stay centered makes you resilient, unshaken by criticism, undistracted by negativity, and unbothered by temporary setbacks. The calm person does not deny their emotions, they manage them. They understand that reacting out of anger or fear only gives power away, while responding with calmness keeps it within. That is why calmness is often mistaken for passivity, when in truth it is the highest form of strength. Calmness is deeply connected to confidence. When you are at peace within yourself, you don't feel the need to rush or prove. You trust your process and timing. You understand that panic never produces better results, and patience is not weakness but wisdom. Calmness shows that you have faith in yourself, in your abilities, and in the unfolding of your journey. That quiet trust becomes magnetic because it communicates self-assurance without arrogance. Others sense it, and they are drawn to it. Opportunities often find those who are calm because calmness signals readiness. Calmness is not something you are born with. It is something you cultivate through awareness and discipline. It grows when you learn to pause before reacting, when you choose peace over drama, and when you respond with understanding instead of judgment. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Over time, calmness becomes your shield in chaos, your anchor in uncertainty, and your power in adversity. It turns ordinary moments into opportunities for wisdom and transforms obstacles into stepping stones. When your inner world is calm, you become unstoppable. Not because you avoid storms, but because you've learned how to stand still in the middle of them. Actions have always spoken louder than words, and in a world filled with noise, promises, and performances, silent effort remains the most powerful statement of all. Letting your actions speak for you is about earning respect through consistency rather than seeking attention through talk. It is about building credibility not by declaring who you are, but by showing it in everything you do. The loudest voices often fade quickly, but the quiet worker who stays committed, disciplined, and humble builds a legacy that endures. Real success doesn't need an announcement. It reveals itself through results that cannot be denied. The desire to be noticed often leads people to talk more than they act. They share plans before they've begun, make promises they can't sustain, and seek validation before achieving anything real. But those who understand the power of silence focus on action instead of approval. They move quietly, away from distractions and opinions, and pour their energy into the work itself. When you stop talking about what you're going to do and start doing it, momentum builds, your progress becomes undeniable, and your achievements speak with a voice far stronger than any self-promotion ever could. Silence in action is not secrecy, it's focus. When you protect your goals from unnecessary noise, you give them space to grow. Every moment spent talking about your ambitions is a moment taken away from building them. Quiet workers understand this truth deeply. They prefer progress over popularity, depth over display, and excellence over exposure. While others compete for attention, they concentrate on mastery. That's why, when their results finally appear, they seem sudden to the world. But in reality, those achievements were years of quiet persistence taking form. Letting action speak also reflects emotional maturity. It shows that you are not driven by the need for external validation, but by internal purpose. When you rely on words, your confidence depends on how others respond. When you rely on action, your confidence depends on what you create. That shift in focus transforms you from a talker into a doer, from a dreamer into a builder. Your achievements become your voice, and they carry more weight than any argument or explanation could. People may doubt your words, but they cannot deny your results. Those who let their actions speak inspire trust. In relationships, workplaces, and leadership, consistency is more powerful than charisma. Words can impress, but only actions build credibility. When you keep your promises, follow through on commitments, and deliver more than expected, people begin to rely on you. That reliability becomes your brand, your silent reputation that travels further than any marketing ever could. You don't need to shout about your worth when your work already proves it. Integrity in action is what sets true professionals apart from pretenders. There is also a deep sense of peace that comes from doing the work quietly. You no longer need to defend or explain yourself because your progress is self-evident. You don't have to convince anyone of your intentions. Your discipline already does that. This silence frees you from comparison, competition, and doubt. It allows you to focus on growth rather than validation. The quiet achiever is not racing others but refining themselves. They understand that success built in silence is far more stable than success built on noise. The world is full of words, but short on follow-through. When you decide to be the kind of person whose actions speak, you automatically stand out. You show that strength is not in talking about greatness, but in doing the work that leads to it. Every act of discipline, every moment of perseverance, and every silent sacrifice adds to the power of your story. Over time, your consistency will become your loudest voice. Without uttering a word, your achievements will speak volumes about your dedication, your integrity, and your strength. Because in the end, noise fades, words are forgotten, but the echo of quiet, consistent action lasts forever. So my friends, as you walk out today, remember, not every battle is fought with words, and not every dream is reached with noise. Silence is not the absence of effort, it is the presence of focus. Hush now, wealth follows. Thank you.